Alright guys, we're back on the head today, and we're going to be working on getting the valves put back in. And in order to do that correctly, there's a procedure where you want the valves to meet up with the seats here. That needs to be a pretty much airtight, watertight fit. And in order to accomplish that, after you've taken them out and messed around and changed the surface of them a little bit, is you use valve grinding compound or lapping compound. And what this is basically, it's like a paste with very, very fine grit sandpaper. And the procedure will be, take your valve, put a little bit of that compound around the seat part, at the very ends there, and then you're going to put the valve back into the engine or the head. And after it's in there, you're going to want to twist it to grind that compound in. During the process of grinding that compound in, it's going to start getting smooth, and you're going to pick up on the valve and you're going to push it back in. It'll be like grind, 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 up, down, grind, 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 up, down. And that procedure to keep the compound moving and doing the job that it's supposed to do. They sell tools such as this piece right here. It's got a suction cup on one end, and how it would work is you put the suction cup on the valve like so, and then once it's on there, you use both of your hands to do that motion, like if you were starting a fire with a stick, like in the Boy Scouts or something like that. That will wear you out. We're not going to do that today. I'm going to show you the setup that I use. What I got here is a drill bit, and I have one of those suction cups stuck on the end of a screwdriver chuck or bit, and we're going to attach that to the valve like so. And then it's going to be at a very I'm not doing it right now, I'm just showing you kind of the speed we're going to go. I've got it picked up. Probably not much faster than that right there. And it's up and down, up and down, up and down. And the desired what we're going for in the end is the end of your valve to look like that. You can see the difference between that valve and say one that's not complete yet. The other one, this is shiny and smooth. When you're done with grinding that valve, it's going to be a grayish color. And that's how you know that you've got it right. As far as your seats, I've already done these two here, so you can see in here the change in color. It's also that grayish color. This still has compound on this one here, and this one has not been done yet. So you can see the difference between completed to be completed. So let me try to get this camera set up in a way that you'll be able to watch it. I'll do a couple for you on camera and show you the procedure that I use. Alright, we're going to start with this one here. Still learning the camera trick if I'm a little backwards. Okay, this one has not been done. It's going to go into this seat right here. So the first thing I'm going to do, a little bit of the goo on my finger. We're going to coat the top of the valve with it. Doesn't take a lot. And another thing, you don't want to get that on the front of the valve because that interferes with that suction cup sticking properly. Just kind of get a good coat on there, not very much again. And again, we're going in here. If I can find the hole. Alright. That little bit that's on the outside, I'm going to try to wipe away here. Alright. Again, I'm going to go in with the suction cup on the end of the drill bit, press. Now, the thing about this smaller suction cup, you can only press so hard before it just starts spinning on the valve. So that kind of is a way to put a brake on what you're doing so you don't get carried away with pushing too hard. You let the compound do the work. You don't press on it. You just let it sit in there. Here we go. See, I kind of pushed a little too hard and it stopped spinning. That's what I was talking about. It still has a lot of grit feeling to it. You kind of know when you're done. It just, the way it feels in your hand just feels different, and you know that you've got to, probably what you've gone for. You see, I've got some of that compound on my suction cup now. It doesn't like to stick like that. All right, we're going to see what we have here. All right, we're going to get this cleaned off and show you the difference between what it used to look like and what it looks like now. Okay, here we go. There we go. All right. You can see all around the top layers kind of turn gray now. Nice and smooth all the way around. The same thing's happened to our valve seat. So you know that you've mated that valve to that location on the head. Try to get in there so you can see that. There. And again, like I've showed you before how I keep up with these things, I know I'm on number 4. So that goes back in there, and of course the next one in line would be number 5. So again, we've got 2, 3, 4 of them done. We've got 4 to go. This is a lengthy process, and also there's a check that you can do where people will actually put the valves and the springs back in, tilt it over, and pour gasoline down in the ports. And I'll show you what I do, which is pretty much the same procedure, but I'll just put the valve after I've cleaned it better, of course. And then what I do is I press it with my thumb and then spray carb cleaner in there. Some may leak out, but this type of engine, it's not really necessary that you have a 100% airtight seal. When you go with those high compression racing engines, turbos and things like that, of course, you want that to be as airtight as possible. But what you'll see is that it'll hold the carb cleaner, and there may be, as you're spraying it, as you're holding with your thumb, now bear in mind this isn't the same as when it's sealed in there with the spring, but you may see a little bit come out around the sides as you're spraying, then you hold it and then none will leak out. Then you'll reach back, pop it open, and you'll see the rest of the fluid come out at that point. And also the thing to keep in mind is that when you first get this engine back together and running, those valves are going to be, well, they're going to be doing that inside the engine. And what that does is helps to seal that as well. So once everything's done, it's back in the engine, there is a period during the break-in where that will actually help to form those things exactly the shape that they're supposed to be. So I'm going to get on the rest of these, and I'm going to come back when I'm done. Okay, I finished the intake side, got this kind of cleaned out. I finished the exhaust side. I've gone through with my intake side, got them all in now. I started off with my drill to kind of get those going up and down, up and down. Just take it easy, and I'm going to finish off with the hand, show you how this works also. But plus, when you're doing this, you kind of have you can feel through your hands things start getting a little smooth, pick up, back down, keep going, keep going. Once you can kind of tell when the job is done. There's kind of a feel, kind of a sound to it. That one's got a little squeak to it. I'm not sure about that one, but this is how that tool works. So I go back over each one. Well, one thing you don't want to happen, you don't want any of that lapping compound between your suction cup and the valve, or it's not going to work. But you know, go through each one last time with my hand and just kind of feel the resistance, the grind, the pressure, and you kind of get an idea, yeah, those guys are done. So that's where I'm at now. I've already done these last 3, so I'm not going to get back to them, but you could, there's a change in the sound, a change in the feel, and you know that part of, that you've got that accomplished now. So next step, take these intakes out, clean the valves, get all that compound off. That compound, like I said, is an abrasive. It's like a sandpaper. If that gets down into your engine, that's working against everything that you're trying to do right here to redo everything. So we're going to get all that off. So get that off the valves. One last time, we'll take the head out, brakes clean, and pressure spray. Get every little bit of wire wheel, lapping compound, bits, specs out of that, and then we'll be ready to install these and put the valve springs back on the keepers. I'll come back when I'm ready for that. All right, got that cleaned off now. I'll show you one last time before I start putting things back together. You can see where I was grinding that. You see the color change in that. Goes all the way around each one evenly. So that's what I was trying to accomplish. That's all. The valves are now ground in, so to speak. And we're ready to put this thing back together. Let's get it dried up and get started on installing the valves. Alright, we're set up now. I'm ready to put the valve spring seats back in. Don't want to forget those. That's where what the valve sits on top. Put each one of these in. Over your think about probably should do one at a time, but I would like to go ahead and put all the seals in too. These have to go on before the seals do. And you know, once you have the seals on, that'll prevent these from, you flip it over, from trying to fall out back out of the engine. All right, I had them all, 16. Next part, get my bag of new valve stem seals. I'm trying to show you one of those up close. See, these are just caps for this, and they just basically just push on. Nothing special. You kind of see the witness mark from where the last set was on, so you can tell when you're down far enough. What we're going to do after I get these down, we're going to oil them. Go ahead and drop oil down in each one of them to make sure that when we start putting the valves back through them, that everything's lubricated right. Hopefully there are 16 in this bag. That would be just my luck. Be 15 of them. I'm sure everybody has that same kind of luck. Can't go through a drive-through, pick up a dinner, they're gonna always forget something. You're always the first one to get caught by that red light. And you're the one that they send 15 valve stem seals instead of 16 to. Hopefully we can avoid the curse. Oh, I think I'm gonna be okay. All right. get the camera here moving and show you what a little better view of that. Make sure you saw that the bottom piece went in, then the new valve stems go on top of that. All right, next step, put the valves in, put the springs on, put the retainer on, squish it, put the keeper on. Also, I'm going to have to, the valves that still have, I wiped them off really good, but I'm going to make sure I get every single bit of that residue of the lapping compound off. Some solvent, I'll soak it in that, and then I'm going to clean them with a rag. I'll be right back when I'm ready to put these on. Alright guys, we're set up here, I think. I hope this is going to be a good enough angle for you. Like I said, I'm going to start with the number one exhaust. And I have the number one exhaust in my hand, double checking. Again, what I'm going to do, I'm going to put some oil on the end of this and then run it through, and it'll help to get this oil seal pre-lubricated. See, a little nasty on there. Put this down so I can use both my hands. Alright, and we're through. Okay, first thing we're going to do, get our exhaust side. Remember I told you I separated those. I don't know if I have to or not, but just to be on the safe side, get this one here, get it started on there. And the valve spring retainer, I'm going to try and use the words better. I'm new to talking to a camera and all, so to understand that's a spring seat, valve spring retainer. It's going to be the valve stem keepers, or I think Honda calls them cotter, on the top there. I know in some of the other videos I was getting a little mixed up in my terminology, but I'm not used to talking on video. Okay, remember our tool from before. Run this out. Get on the back of the valve. Run it down. There we go. All right, we're getting there. All right. Okay, and where I need to be, let me find, I'll be right back. I gotta find my turn for that. All right, thought I was ready to go. Wasn't. Okay, and now we're going to compress the valve spring. Try to turn this so you can see this a little better. Let's see if I got it in the shot good. How's that? That's not too bad. Okay, so we're going to run this down, making sure the valve comes through the end there. And it does exactly what it's called. It compresses the valve spring. Okay, that looks good there. I'll try to get this window where it's a little better. Now this part, I really need to have the block lane a little flatter, because what I'm going to do now, we talked about these before, the cotters or the keepers that go on the end. I'll see if I can do this one-handed. I think what I'm going to try to do is get some needle nose and put them in there with that, so bear with me. Okay, I think what I'm going to have to do, like again, I'm going to have to set this down flat, so give me a second to reposition here. All right, that's not exactly flat. I should have a block of wood or something over there, but this is this part here is just tedious. So you have to get those on either side, and then you have to make sure they're right side up. You can see, if you can see that little lip at the top there, that's the top. Get one on each side. And like I said, this is tedious, and I apologize for being tedious. And of course they're magnetic. That helps in the beginning, it hurts you right here. All right, after a good bit of struggling and bad words, I just don't have the fingers for this. I've got that one put in there now. Again, it's got these little catches on the inside of the top of those that catch the top of the valve when the spring comes back up. Let's see here, little lip that's on the top of the valve there, and those catch into that part there, and they're kind of V-shaped, so the spring retainer holds those flush against, holds them tight against the end there, and then it prevents the retainer from coming off the end. I wish there was a way I could show you this better. I'm sure I'm going to get better as I go. I've done this before. It's been not too long ago, but I don't remember having this much trouble. Maybe it's just I'm getting too old. My fingers are getting clumsy. So I'm going to get the rest of these in. Like I said, oil the end of each one of these, push them through, compress the spring down, the two pieces on the top here, and then release the tension until they come up and they catch right there in that little groove right there. That's the goal. All right, let me get back on this. All right, I kind of caught my stride here, finally, with a little thought. And what I'm using now, I have a pair of tweezers that are non-ferrous, so they're not magnetic, so the keeper isn't sticking. So once I get the tool put down, I get the keeper. Of course, once I put the camera back on, it's going to become a problem. But all right, now once I have the tool in position, I'm going to move the keeper in. You kind of push the tool away from the side to where the keeper goes in. Once I have it in position, I push it against the stem with the tool. Once that happens, I'm holding the tool against the keeper. I sneak the other keeper in behind it, get it in position, and then it's ready to spin back out. And voila, there you go. All right. So that took a little doing, but end result, we're done. Got one to go. I'll get to that. But I want to try to also explain how important it is that you go back and you check each one of these and make sure that you have it, that the keepers are where they're supposed to be on the notch that's in the top of the valve. Give it a good wiggle, check all of them, visually inspect it. There can be some gaps on either side, but as long as they're at the equal heights inside the spring retainer, you're going to be okay. If you put this thing back on the engine and one of those retainers lets go, or the spring keepers lets go, you're going to be cussing because that whole head's got to come back off after you went to all that trouble. So that looks like a good ending point today. The next video, I'm going to start tearing down the block, get the pistons out, the rod out. I mean, the piston out, the crankshaft out, and I'll show you what goes into that, the front end off and all. So thanks for watching. If you like what you've been seeing, be sure to like and subscribe. Leave me a comment down below. I'll try to get back to you on that, and I'll leave you with some goings on in my backyard. Thank you.